So in this video I want to talk about weight shift. This is really important because there's some golfers that get a couple of ideas a little bit wrong, and it can make a massive difference just understanding the simplicity of what you're supposed to do with your weight. So what's happened is I put a lot of emphasis onto some of the videos on the idea of staying centered, and what I've also been doing a lot recently on the channel is I've been talking a lot about the importance of sequence and the effect that has on like your body becoming tilted, right? And the reason for that I think is really important because I meet a lot of golfers that reach out for help and they'll be consciously trying to do things like drop the shoulder and they get really sort of stuck, and by just explaining to them a couple of simple pieces of information it makes a massive difference, hence why I tend to share it on here as well. So what should happen is I'll come back to that. So we should get set up, okay? And the first thing that we're looking for in the backswing position is a movement very much of the hands and arms. So your hands and arms should move very much in this early backswing position. Your lower body should stay very quiet. Now, what you'll tend to find is if you get the feeling of kind of almost, allowing that club head to reach to the side of your body, as long as your head stays still, what you'll probably notice is that your weight will naturally shift, almost a little bit like a sliding action, where your weight will shift progressively in towards your right foot, okay? And that's absolutely fine, but as long as it's not a rotational movement. And what happens is when you start to move, as I'm demonstrating now, you'll start to produce a tilt. So see the way that my left shoulder starts to drop down in that first move, and that's really key. Now, from this position, you want to basically do a couple of things. You want to kind of lift your arms up as you complete your rotation, okay, like so. But what we want to do is we want to still try and get the feeling that we're turning the upper against the lower body, okay? What we don't want to do is you don't want to demonstrate a really good backswing and then turn everything together, because again, golfers that turn everything together have a real problem with retaining hip depth. So where does weight pressure fit into this, and where does this little wedge fit into this? Well, this wedge is a really useful thing. So all of my online students will generally go out and buy either like a foot wedge, like a yoga foot wedge, or you can buy, like Callaway Golf do a foot wedge as well, something that might be easier for you to get your hands on. And the idea is that you just want to work on the sequence as I mentioned. So you want to kind of get in the habit of taking the club back, and then from here, you want to kind of simultaneously lift your arms up as you turn your body. But the idea of the foot wedge being there is a couple of things. One, because it elevates your leg up, it should stay flexed, and that's what you want, okay? The idea of the leg staying flexed is it stops you sort of overturning, right, in the backswing position. And also it will sort of tilt your foot, which is a really good thing, because again, it will help you feel like your right leg is resisting against excessively turning. And that's a really good way to practice. So you end up with your foot on here, you take the club back, hands and arms first, so this is getting your sequence, and then as I swing up to the top, I'm going to lift my arms up as I swing up. So if you want to feel like there's more weight on your right side, fine. If you want to feel like it's 50-50 between, on your right, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, because sometimes when I'm talking about being centered, people are kind of then saying, well, I'm saying get the weight on the left. I'm not. I've never said that. Okay, what I've ever said is at the top, it's acceptable to be 50-50, and it is. However, if you practice with the foot wedge, what you'll start to notice is transition is way easier, because what you want to do when you start the downswing is you want to be moving down and around as you let your arms release, and that's what's going to give you that ability to really swing through. So hopefully this video will clarify where I stand in terms of what I'm looking to teach and what I want you guys to be trying to introduce, and also it'll clarify a really important thing, which is keep the leg flexed and turn against it. I'll speak to you soon.